Hello guys, welcome to the Pmdg Boeing 777-300 ER for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. I am a real 777 pilot, and on this channel I'm going to bring to you from this moment a lot of content about this amazing airplane that I'm grateful to fly it in real life. Okay, so first of all, I would like to say thank you to Pmdg for the early access, especially to Matthijs that I help a little bit with the manuals and the tutorial that you are going to see that is coming with this airplane for you to fly from Japan to Australia. And today we are here in Melbourne, runway 16, to show you what, in my opinion, is the greatest improvement on the 777 from Pmdg. Why, in my opinion, this is the greatest improvement? Because I'm waiting for it for the past 10 years. Yes, when I joined the 737 in my previous company in 2010, they were already testing RNP AR approaches into Rio de Janeiro Santos Dumont Airport. And a few years later, we start flying these RNP AR approaches. And when I moved to the Middle East and I start flying the 777, this feature was already there. So I don't conceive the 777 without this kind of lateral navigation that is required to fly RNP AR approaches. I'm going to show you the chart of the procedure that we are going to do, but basically what the LNAV improvements on the 777 does is to allow the airplane to maintain a constant turn during some procedures. Before this, the airplane was able to fly a straight line between two fixes, okay? So to do the approaches that we are going to do today, instead of flying a curved path, steady, stable, the airplane was flying a turn and straight, a turn and straight a couple of times to more or less comply with this kind of procedure. This was a little bit annoying, especially because the airplane was not able to correctly fly even those turn and straight segments because they were so close to each other, and we need some sort of precision to comply with this procedure that the 777 now has. Okay, so we are going inside the airplane now. So this is the airplane, and the type of approach that I'm talking to you, I'm going to retrieve from here. We can go to Yankee Mike Lima. I'm going to search for this airport, and then on the approach here, we are going to do RNP Papa 16 is the AR. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and this is the approach. RNP Papa runway 16 is AR, authorization required, so means that you need approval from the regulator agency to do. And the most important is the note 2, RF required. So RF is radio to fix turns. Okay, so basically what you have here between Susac and Arecho, and between Arecho and Mike Lima 420 is a constant turn. Okay, and this constant turn is showing here by a left turn arc, and this is now what the airplane is able to do. So basically we are going to depart Melbourne, we are going to fly MSEC, and then is a standard straight line to Susac, but from Susac you have a constant turn towards Arecho and then a constant turn towards Mike Lima 420 for your approach. Okay, couple of things about this procedure. We need to maintain between 185 and 160 knots, 10 miles from the runway, which is basically between Susac and Arecho. So I'm going to be Susac with flaps 5, this maximum 190 knots and minimum at 10 miles 160, so we are going to be maintaining 180 knots. When we are coming close to our ratio, we are going to configure the airplane, gear down flaps 20, reduce our speed to 160, then flaps 30 and maintain 160 until we are 5 miles to the runway, which is basically before Mike Lima 420. As you can see here, from Mike Lima 420 is 3.3 miles, so basically until 1.7 miles towards Mike Lima 420, we need to maintain 160 knots. And our minimas for RNP 0.11, which is the case for us today with the new database from, or the new LNAV improvements from Pmdg, 820 is our minimas. Okay, so this is the approach that we are going to shoot. I will keep it like this so you can clearly see the approach that we are doing. Let me show you a couple of things. So basically, we are going to fly straight ahead to 1,500, and then we are going to go to MSEC. You can already see the turn after 1,500 left to MSEC. I'm going to execute this. And our cruise altitude is going to be 4,000 feet. So we are going to climb to 4,000 feet as the initial approach fix is at 3,000 or above. Okay. So after saying that, we know where is 10,000 and 10 miles, but I also want to know where is 5 miles to the runway. So I'm going to take the runway into the fix page, and I'm going to create a 5-mile ring by adding /5. And now you're going to see that a 5-mile ring around the threshold 16 was created. So if I come here on my plan and I go to legs page, we are going to see each fix. So one MSEC, then I'm going to reduce from MSEC to SUSAC to 180 knots, and then we are going to cross SUSAC 180 knots, flaps 5. Later on we start our descent, and then we select gear down, flaps 20, reduce the speed to 160. While we are going towards a ratio, around a ratio, we configure airplane flaps 30 for this landing, and we maintain at least 150 knots until we are at 5 miles, which is just before Mike Lima 420, where we reduce our approach speed, and then later on we set our missed approach altitude of 4,000 feet in case we need to go around. Then on the final, around 200 feet, I'm going to keep the autopilot into 200 feet, which is the minimum altitude that you can keep the autopilot on the 777 on a VNAV approach. So at 200 feet, I'm going to disengage the autopilot and perform this landing, okay? So that's it. This is our flight, basically. Yes, weather radar is on, even though we don't have much weather around. Terrain is on the other side. Just to finalize this, we do before takeoff checklist with LNAV engaged in this case. So before takeoff checklist is complete. I'm going just to click here on recall, so there is nothing wrong with the airplane. Okay, so here we are. We can start this procedure, and I'm going to give you now the Pmdg sound as well. Okay, so I know a lot of people like this thing about sound and everything, so this is the sound. I didn't turn it on before because I wanted to talk to you. So now you already know what we are going to do. Before we go, please subscribe to this channel, give the thumbs up so we can reach more people, and activate notifications so you will be notified once new content is available. Actually, you are seeing this video as a premiere, if you are one of the first ones, on the exact time and date that Pmdg left the embargo for the people that got the early access to showcase their product. Thank you so much one more time, Pmdg. But because I'm recording this video before, I have to tell you another thing. I'm on the first build of this airplane that was released to the early access. Okay, I already got an email that is another build, so there are already some improvements, but the internet here in China is a little bit slow, so still downloading that one. I'm going to test that one as well before the live stream that we are going to have on Saturday. Okay, I'm going to leave you the details for the live stream on the Saturday and on Sunday at the end of the video. Okay, but what important is that this is a recorded video, and right now, if you are one of the first ones to watch this video, I'm flying this 777, the real one, from here in Macau back to the my home base in the Middle East. Okay, so this is a recorded video, and you are going to see live broadcasts Saturday and Sunday featuring the 777 from Pmdg. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to remove my webcam. Okay, here we go. So now you can see only the Pmdg. First thing, releasing the parking brakes. Parking brakes are released. Yes, and now we take 55% N1, that's the first change from the 7.3. So you got until 55% stable, and then you press toga, you have thrust rep on your FMA, a little bit of forward pressure on the yoke, keep the center line, wait for 80 knots.
80 knots.
Checked, and now you release that light forward pressure, you wait for V1, and VR you rotate.
V1. Rotate.
And here we go, off the ground, off the ground.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. LNAV is there, 200 feet, we can engage autopilot, and I'm going to fly like this so you can see the screens and everything that I'm doing. So at 1,500 we started the left turn, we start accelerating as well, so towards 240 knots. So now I'm going to retract flap to 1. I don't know why it went all the way to up. One more time, I just want 1. And when we are above 1 feet, we retract flaps to up. Okay, when we get flaps up and gear up, we can do after takeoff checklist. So after takeoff checklist is complete. Okay, next step, we prepare for this approach. So our minimums today is 820, and our approach speed with flaps 30 will be 140. Okay, so 140 is set. Now we have VNAV path because the airplane is reaching 4,000 feet, our cruise level. Auto brake I'm going to select to 2. And we have FMC message to reset MCP altitude. Okay, so our procedure is at 3,000 feet or above. So first altitude that we are going to see here is 3,000 feet. Okay, and one important thing, on the 777, always take control of your speed. Okay, so I'm reaching MSEC, I'm going to open the speed window here, VNAV path stays there, and I'm going to reduce my airspeed to 220 knots to start configuring this airplane. Okay, so airplane is reducing to flap up speed while we do the descent checklist. So recall is checked, notes, there are no notes checked, auto brake is 2, landing data, VREF 30, 140, minimums battle 820, approach briefing is complete. We can also do approach checklist because our altimeters are set to 1025 and approach checklist is complete. Now I'm going to extend flaps 1 and reduce my airspeed to flaps 1 speed, which today is 200 knots. As we have flaps 1 and maximum speed is 190 at the next point, flaps 5, and we reduce to flaps 5 speed, which today is 180 knots. There we are, descending, and you are going to see now the turn of this airplane. Okay, as you can see, it's a very smooth turn, continuous turn. Okay, as you can see, it's a continuous turn to the left. No straight lines, only one turn. Okay, as we start the descent, we set the gear down, flaps 20, and we reduce the speed today to 160. And we need to maintain 160 or at least now 150 until 5 miles. Okay, so gear down, flaps 20, we can arm the speed brake. One more time, outside view, as you can see, the airplane is constantly turning. This is the beauty of the new LNAV system, required for this kind of procedures. Okay, so as we are approaching now a ratio 3,000 feet, the next altitude that we need is our minimus 820 on the 777. Rounded up to the nearest 10 feet here, you will always have your minimus as an altitude on your MCP, okay? So the MCP goes by 100 feet apart from this time where you can select your minimus. In this case, 820, you can really select 820 on the 777, okay? So there we are, one more time, outside view, turning towards the airport, constant turn, a ratio, just pass, and now another constant turn towards Mike Lima 420. Okay, as you can see, amazing turn. Now flaps 20, sorry, flaps 30. Speed is minimum 150 until we reach the arc. So speed 150 is there, and there you are in a constant turn. You see, constant turn towards the final. We are approaching the 5 miles really soon. You see this amazing turn. There is our landing runway. So now we just cross the 5 miles to the runway. We can reduce to our approach speed of 145. And there we are. Landing checklist. Landing checklist is complete. We can close the checklist. Almost set. We are just waiting for our missed approach altitude. They could set when you were below 4,000 feet on the VNAV, but as we are going towards our minimums, right now I'm going to select 4,000 feet. Set. So we are crossing now 1,000 feet above the airport. We are stable. We can continue our approach. Amazing view. Align with the runway now. Fully configured. And we are going to maintain the autopilot on until around 200 feet, which is the minimum altitude for autopilot when you are not on land 3 and land 2 on an ILS approach. Okay, so 200 feet is the minimum altitude for the autopilot. 200 feet AGL. We are now at 500.
500.
Yes, 500. So you want to hear 200 feet if autopilot is engaged.
Minimums.
Okay, there we go. Manual flight. Flight director. Keep flying towards the runway.
$100. 50. 30. 20.
And 10. And here is the touchdown. Whoop. Idle reverse. Speed brake up. And brake 2 will bring us nice and slowly towards a runway exit. Okay, so I hope you like this video. I hope you now can understand a little bit more of this LNAV improvement that Pmdg was talking about. Something that I asked them so with many other people, and of course this is a huge improvement, a lot of work, a lot of effort to bring this to the Pmdg 777, and I think that they will roll this back to the 737 at some point as well. I'm not worried about the 737 now. I'm going to fly the 777 for a long time, so but it's something that I want to see. And when they bring this to the 737, I can promise you I'm going to do an RNP AR approach into Santos Dumont Airport as well. Okay, so here we are in Melbourne. This is the 777-300ER. I'm going to bring you more videos about this 777. I'm going to also live broadcast 2 early access streams. So the date, time for this will be on your screen right now. Okay, so on the 22nd at 1800 UTC, you are going to see the English broadcast. Okay, so this Saturday, 800 UTC, English broadcast 777 real pilot early access. We are going to fly in Europe most probably. I'm going to show you ILS approach, I'm going to show you a missed approach, and I'm going to show you another VNAV approach just like the one we did today. The next day, on Sunday, I'm going to be broadcasting in Portuguese for my fellow Brazilians and Portuguese friends around the world. So on Sunday, 23rd at 1500 Brasília time. So this is 3 in the afternoon for the people in Brasília. Pessoal do Brasil, 3 da tarde no dia 23, domingo. Okay? This is basically same as 1800 UTC on the 23rd, same time. Is going to be our Portuguese broadcast. I just leave the reference in Brasília time because most of my followers that are going to watch for this broadcast, they are going to be in Brazil. So at 1500 Brasília time, 1800 UTC time. Okay, I hope to see everybody there, and thank you so much. Bye bye.